Hi, I'm Phil from Stick Security, and hopefully you've come to this video because you were looking for a key box and saw the multitude of videos showing just how poor the master locks and their clones are, and you were wondering if it's worth buying something a little bit more expensive. So we all know that the master locks can be decoded with a bit of tin can, or if you're feeling particularly fancy, you can make your own tool with some tin snips and a file, and you can be in them in about 20 seconds on a bad day. However, these are a little bit better. The master locks are about 15 quid, and these things are about 40 quid. Now, if you look at Supra's website, they have a community care section, or care in the community section, and all of them use the same mechanism, which we'll get to in a second, but this particular variant is designed for temporary situations where someone needs care in the home on an emergent basis, and they just need some way to secure the keys outside for carers to access. So we'll come back to the mechanism, but let's just have a look at the box itself. Now, there's a reasonable amount of gravity to this thing. Certainly feels a lot more hefty than the master lock. This particular variant has the shackle, which allows it to be attached to a fence or a suitably shaped door handle. However, while there's quite a lot of weight to the box, this isn't exactly particularly thick, and more concerningly is it's retained only in one place, so not both sides, just the one, admittedly at the bottom, and in such a way that wrapping on the back of this will not dislodge it and allow it to be pulled out. But the way criminals will break into this is they will use whatever you've got it attached to, so something through there, as a pivot point. They'll put a spanner in there and they'll break it, and having it retained only in one position makes that a hell of a lot easier. So you might be thinking, well, I'm not getting this model, I'm getting the one that bolts through the wall. Great, fantastic. So let's have a look at the mechanism. Now, you can set as many digits as you want on this, and you type them in any order and press down this button and it will open. You set them by twiddling some screws on the back. All well and good. The problem is that this can be decoded even easier than the master lock. And this is not new. This is all over the internet, and criminals have known about these methods for ages. I'm going to use a screwdriver just because it keeps my fingers out of the way. So I'm going to push down on here. Moderate tension, so not really clamming it down, but not being too loose about it. And I'm going to push down on numbers. You can see 0 gives me feedback on the opening button. Okay, let's go to 9. And no matter how hard I push on that, no feedback. 8 gives me feedback. 7, 6, nothing on 5. Oh, 4, got feedback on 4. 3, nothing on 2, and feedback on 1. So yes, I do know the code to this. It's 1840. It's written on the back, but that particular technique is all over YouTube, and criminals have known about it for absolutely ages. So is this a bad key safe? They call it a key safe. I wouldn't call it a key safe. These are for key storage, and if you must use one of them, please keep it out of sight. Hide it away somewhere, because anything other than the really expensive police approved models are frankly dire. They've got well-known vulnerabilities that have been around for ages. Now, Supra, to their credit, say that this should only be used in combination with CCTV and alarms and all that sort of stuff. These products exist because there is a market demand for them. Supra can make a really good keybox, and they do. They've got the 500 series, which costs 70 to 90 quid, something like that, and they are really quite secure. The older models have some vulnerabilities, but I think they fixed those in the newer ones. There's nothing well publicized out there, partly because they're so expensive. People won't buy them to mess with them. So you can get a decent key box, but when a company comes out with a cheap one, you then get this race to the bottom because Masterlock tell you that this is secure, and it really isn't. And if you're a customer who doesn't necessarily know any more than that, you're going to look at this model and the really expensive ones and go, well, they all say they're secure. Why should I pay more than £15? And unfortunately, this is where we are. So what should you do? Well, probably, if you absolutely must have a key box, get one of the more expensive ones. Police approved ones are still something of a lottery, but the Supra ones seem to be pretty good. Beyond that, look at smart locks, and that's a whole different minefield, but there are some decent ones out there. You'll pay a lot of money for them if you buy them new, but you might be able to get them second hand, and you'll be able to recoup a fair bit on them later on. But for the meantime, my advice is don't buy cheap, because you'll undermine the thousands of pounds you have spent on your UPVC doors and associated locking systems.